to Atypical Talk. This is a podcast where we have conversations that illuminate the intersection of faith, culture, and the common spaces of our humanity. I'm Abby.
I'm Joel.
And I'm Allison.
And I wanted to start off by asking, what is the weirdest or most unique gift you've ever received?
This is a hard one because I could not remember. And I don't know if I just like black out the weird things later, but my husband reminded me that as a wedding gift, we've been married almost 25 years now, but as a wedding gift, the pastor and his wife gave us a nativity set.
Oh, so spiritual.
Yeah. And it was, you know, one that you feel like maybe they just had in their attic because it was like really old looking too, you know, which, you know, I don't know, but I was like, interesting. We still have it for the record. We don't put it out, but we still have it. You can't throw it away.
Very white baby Jesus in this. Yeah, of course.
And like, but you can't just toss it.
No,
I'm
like, that way with any Christmas decor and stuff. Like, even if I'm not using it, I feel weird throwing it away because I'm like, I know someone gave this to me and they meant nice.
Oh man, I have
no sentimental
value with that stuff. Like, they'll never know, they'll never ask. It's being thrown away. And ooh, what does it say about me? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was such a monster.
If it was like Santa themed or something, I would.
Oh, so it was because it was Jesus.
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't throw away old Bibles?
No. I don't think I would either.
Oh man,
there's just some weird. I don't know.
It feels it's too sacred to just toss into the dump.
Gonna have to talk to a therapist about that probably.
That's good.
What about you, Joel?
A couple years ago, my wife's grandmother, who is almost 100 years old now, I believe she's 98 years old, she got me for Christmas. She always got me a gift card, and usually it was like an Amazon gift card. And then she got me an Uber gift card. And she goes, I know you like technology, so I got you an Uber gift card. And I'm like, Nana, do you know what Uber is? Like, it's something with the computer. I'm like,
she thought it was like an Apple gift card or something.
I know. But it was so funny. I remember thinking, where am I ever going to use an Uber gift card? And my wife and I used it like a couple weeks later when we were doing like a weekend getaway. Like, hey, we have this.
Thanks, Grandma.
Thank you so much. An Uber gift. You like technology.
Yeah, that's so funny. When I was like, I had to be 12 or 13, my grandma gave me this. It was like a make your own vest, like sewing kit, but it had like cats on it, and it was very like 90-year-old lady.
This might be the most homeschool thing that you've ever done.
I didn't make it.
Yeah.
I was like, were you into making your own clothes?
I was gonna say, was this
anything?
your thing?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I had done it a few times when I was way younger. Like, I did it with my cousins and stuff like that. We made skirts or, you know, jewelry or stuff like that. But this was very, like, at 13 years old, I was like, this is the least cool gift you could have got me. Like, and it never got opened. It never got made.
But you
I'm
still
sure someone would
held on to it. She still got it. I know exactly where it is.
Pull it out of her mom's closet next to
I'm sure that's where it is. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Very funny. Our first topic today, it's a Christianity Today article titled, All Christians Should Listen to Pope Leo on AI. In his first encyclical, Pope Leo issues a powerful warning about artificial intelligence that Protestant writer Russell Moore argues all Christians should take seriously. The Pope contends that the real danger of AI is not that machines will become too humans, but that humans will increasingly become more like machines, cold, isolated, and defined by efficiency rather than dignity. Despite pushback from figures like U.S. Interior Secretary Douglas Burgum, who dismissed the Pope's remarks as outside his role, Moore argues that Silicon Valley's unchecked AI agenda deserves serious spiritual and moral scrutiny. Moore draws on the biblical story of the Tower of Babel to frame today's AI moment, noting that the Babel builders were driven by a mixture of utopian pride and dystopian fear, a dynamic he sees mirrored in today's tech culture. He points to troubling trends like declining human connection, the replacement of relational vices with isolating ones, and tech leaders obsessively pursuing immortality and bunker building, as signs that society is rushing towards a post-human future without asking what it truly means to be human. Yet Moore insists the Christian vision offers a hopeful counter-narrative. The Babel story does not end in destruction, but in a divine call that ultimately leads to the incarnation of Christ. In an age of algorithms and automation, the Christian answer to dehumanization is the reminder that humanity is held together not by data or machines, but by the Word made flesh. So what did you guys think of this from Pope Leo?
I thought it was really interesting and just a thoughtful approach. It wasn't driven by scare tactics or fear, but more of asking the deeper questions and asking maybe questions that don't feel immediate, but I think are really important to see how we see the world and see our role as humans. And so I was really drawn to it, and I echo so much that he said about the reality of the unique role that we have as humans is something that is incarnational, meaning that it's not just meta, it's not just digital, but it's spiritual and physical. And I thought that was so cool and a really good call for us to like, hey, we should have some guardrails and some boundaries, or ask questions, because it is a gold rush right now. AI is. I saw that OpenAI, who's behind ChatGPT, is gearing towards going public, and they're saying it could be the largest public offering in the history of the world. And because so many people want to get in on it, and so this is billions and billions of dollars. And I feel like when the profit motive is attached to this and people can make more money, we stop asking questions. And I think that what Pope Leo did was like, we should ask questions about, is this making us more human, or is it making us less human and more like a machine? And do we really want to be more like a machine? Is life really just about production and efficiency, or is it more about wrestling and connection and the messy moments of life? And so I was just drawn into it. I thought it was thoughtful, not fear-driven, but it's a cause for pause, or at least evaluation. Why do we run towards these things, and do we have any kind of wisdom beyond the next payday?
Yeah, because AI, like, it can help you write your, college lit essay, summarize a book, diagnose why my plants are dying, please tell me. But like you mentioned, like, it can't tell you like why a human life has value, or like why sacrifice is noble, and like all these things that are just like human intrinsic to us, but like a lot of Silicon Valley, they just assume that people are basic computers, like, because we have them in our hands constantly. But like Jesus followers have always kind of rejected that idea that humans aren't merely processors of information. We're, image bearers of God. We're relational creatures, So I don't know. It's interesting because, if a machine can do all of the things that I can do, what still makes me like uniquely human, and
valuable. Where's the value?
Where's the value?
From?
Yeah.
If this machine can produce everything that I can produce and do everything that I need to do for my job, then why am I here? And what am I here for?
Right.
And do I have value anymore? I mean, these are all questions that I think people are wrestling with. And even to like the idea that you just mentioned of we're relational beings and we're built for relationship. I mean, some of the most terrifying things that I've read and listened to about AI is how there is a growing movement of people having AI companions that are like,
or therapists using it as a therapy session.
Full therapy, and then but also just companionship of like, I'm dating this chatbot that is curated to me. Like, talk about feeding your narcissistic tendencies and not knowing how to like deal in the messiness of two different people walking together. If you feed what you want this companion to be, and it tells you exactly what you want to hear when you hear. I mean, one, who could ever actually compete with that in the real world? Because like that's part of any relationship, is two people becoming one, right? So it just feeds narcissism. It feeds against the human and deep callings that we have for sacrifice and for love and for serving one another, because you don't need that, right? I mean, it's deeply troubling when you think about that. And to hear about there's been cases where AI has told people to commit suicide when they ask the question, or told people they should end it if they feel this way. And it's just so many things that it just can't be a replacement for. And so I think it's really, really wise for us to ask questions about it. And I employ and use AI daily for different kind of things, for as dumb as what are the key episodes in season 2 of Clone Wars that I should watch with my 7-year-old so he gets the character development, to what were the 5 tenets of Babylonian judicial systems, and how does that compare to the Jewish judicial system that's revealed in the book of Isaiah, which is really helpful, fun, geeky stuff. But like, I use this stuff all the time. But when we're trying to replace it, when when we're moving it away from being a tool to help us do our calling to where we think like this is just what does everything for me, it can be a dangerous thing, because the narrative of being a follower of Jesus it's spiritual, yet you cannot remove the humanity and the flesh from it, because our whole story is about the divine and human colliding together. And so I think it's a really good thing for us to continue to wrestle with and have some bigger conversations about how we use it and why we use it and what are we trying to get from it.
Yeah, because I think ultimately what you're talking about is like what it means to be human, because you know, if AI can write a better sermon than you can or create a better video than you can, you know, where does our value, does it become more valuable than being a human being kind of a thing? So yeah, it's a tricky little slope we're sliding down, but I also use it constantly about stupid things.
Yeah. With how recent it's come out, it's surprising me how much of a part of our lives it is. Do you think we're already at a point that people need to step back from using it? Because my sister even brought up the other day, she said, if there's some type of apocalypse, we lose the internet. So many people who not only use Google, but, you know, use ChatGPT and other AI programs, they're not going to know what to do. Like once, if suddenly we lose all of this.
It is wild that ChatGPT came in 2022. And that's, I mean, you're talking less than 4 full years.
Yeah.
And how integrated it is in so many of our lives.
Yeah.
And the value I think it's added in our lives, but also the things we should question about in so many of our lives too. Like I can't think in my lifetime a technology that's been so quickly integrated into our lives to where it could be like, what do we even do?
Yeah.
But, you know, talk out of the other side of my mouth, like I remember when I first started driving, I would print out MapQuest with papers to try to get me around Indianapolis or Chicago. And I'm like, well, how would I ever do without this? And then, you know, now it's on your phone and you just forget about these things and you learn to adapt and integrate into your life. And hopefully it's a net positive in that way too. But it is wild how quickly it is just.
If I had the chat when I was in college.
That's oh man, we could talk about it could change your life. You would not learn how to actually. You wouldn't have learned anything.
I wouldn't have.
You know? I mean, it's wild.
But I would have gotten A's across the board.
Yeah, until they figured out. Because it's a wild thing because it is scary. Like because there's a lot of Ivy League schools that have now moved all of their exams to oral exams because kids would basically be spitting out. Or students would be spitting out like A+ papers, and you ask them one question about the topic, and they have no idea. And so it's just wild to think like, man, are we going to have a gap in actual education or teaching people how to think? And that's what I worry about is is it shortcutting some of the thinking that we have to do and the wrestling that we have to do and the processing that we have to do? And on the short term, that's really great because it saved me an hour. Long term, I don't know if it's good that I don't have that gear in my head.
Right.
I've heard about people using ChatGPT to write a paper, copy and paste it. Not a single, like they don't read through it or anything. Like that's wild to me.
Yeah, that takes cheating to a whole. It takes copying or plagiarism to a whole new level. And that's what's scary about it too. When there's no, again, we need to have like some ethics and some standards around this, or we're ultimately going to be cheating ourselves, right? If we don't know how to think and how to process and how to integrate ancient literature with what it's communicating to us today, it's not going to be good for us as a species, right? So interesting times.
Yep. Our next topic is a Relevant magazine article titled Cory Asbury is weathering another worship lyric controversy, but this time it isn't his fault.
Or so he says.
Worship artist Cory Asbury found himself at the center of yet another online controversy with the release of his new song, Outsing the Angels, his first worship song in nearly 6 years. When the track dropped, a typo on Apple Music and Shazam displayed the title as Ousting the Angels, making it sound more like a heavenly rebellion than a worship song. The misspelling quickly spread across Christian social media, prompting confused and concerned fans to question Asbury's theology. Commenters demanded biblical support for kicking angels out of heaven. Others began citing Revelation passages, and one person even sent Asbury an Excel spreadsheet breaking it all down.
The time people have. It's astounding.
And they didn't even listen to the song to see if that's what it was about.
Not at all.
Asbury responded with humor in an Instagram video, joking that one letter difference had massive theological repercussions and that he couldn't believe he was being called a heretic again. He also acknowledged the elephant in the room. This wasn't his first rodeo, referencing the long-running 2018 debate over his hit Reckless Love, quipping that he did not survive the Reckless Love discourse just to be accused of staging a heavenly coup. What did you guys think about this? I didn't even know that. I mean, they must have changed it pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it was Apple Music. I don't use Apple Music, but it must have gotten
Yeah, it
changed
was
pretty
pretty
quick.
Yeah, to echo what Allison said, like, man, there are people that they see this title and they just, I'm going to work to take you down. Like, self-righteousness is a heck of a drug. It really is. That people will be like, wait, is it possible that that's not what he's saying? And it's just wild. The Theo bros, as they're sometimes not affectionately referred to online, the Theo bros online just love to jump at people and watchdog what they think is wrong and explain to you. Actually, what's interesting, not explain to you, but explain to the internet how wrong you are more often than not, which again is just such a talk about bad theology. Like, if you think somebody is wrong about something,
just go to them.
Matthew 18, you go to them, right? And I think there's a couple examples of doing this, but others where let me post this blog or here's this YouTube series with a hot take of Cory Asbury is a heretic. And man, it just is so unattractive. And man, Christians, we can be like so good at just dogpiling our own people or shooting our wounded and running to pile on to heap shame on people instead of having a conversation or learning how to disagree agreeably. And I'm like, come on, you guys. That's my thing is like, come on, you guys. This is like so predictable.
Yeah.
Go outside and touch some grass.
Touch some grass, please. But yeah, it is so funny. Outsing or ousting is that is just, it is a funny misspelling there too. But it is interesting. I remember back in 2018, Reckless Love, because I loved that song so much. It was so impactful to me the first couple times I heard it. And then and I just would sing it all the time, and I loved it. And I used to lead worship and sing it. And then I remember I found out a little late that people were so against the theology. God's love isn't reckless. That means that he is just not thinking, or he's like emotionally unhinged, and that's why he's doing. I'm like, you guys, what in the world? It's poetry. It's a metaphor. It's like, or what are we talking about here? Do I think that God flew off the hinges with his love? No, but it was so elaborate and so lavish. That's why we say it's reckless, because it's over the top. Like, it's a metaphor. Some people just need to understand music. It's art. It's art, and and the language is just so powerful. Yeah. I mean, I think of another worship lyric that was so controversial, and Allison might remember this if she was in church at the time, but I wonder if you even will, Abby, because you're so young.
He did not say that about me. He said, you'll remember this because you're old.
I was putting you with me, Allison.
Go ahead.
But it was the song How He Loves, and there was this line, and heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss was the original line. Yeah. And Abby's cringing as she hears the lyric. And I remember I fought for that lyric. I'm like, yeah, that's like the collision of heaven and earth. It's not nice and tidy. And then other people are like, it just gives me the ick thinking about that. And then it was cleaned up to unforeseen kiss, which I thought was a little controversial as well, because who likes to be kissed? Hidden? Who likes to be kissed in an unforeseen way? Like, do you have permission?
Is it a secret?
Did I give you permission to do this? I don't know. But it's worship lyrics, man. They can be controversial.
Both of them kind of suck.
They didn't ask us. They didn't ask us.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so funny.
So have you ever had an unfortunate misspelling that autocorrect either didn't save you from or made it worse?
Yeah. When I was I was going to be coordinating some volunteers at a color run years and years and years ago, and I still remember this to this day. But I had told the lady that was overseeing it that this group of teenagers that she had put me in charge of, I would instill the fear of God in them, so that way they would behave and they would actually do the thing and da-da-da-da-da. But I sent that I would instill the fart of God in them.
It's still pretty frightening.
She's like, what is that?
I don't even know what that means. But yeah, she immediately texted me back just all these laughing, dying, crying faces, you know, and I was like, well, got me. And this was before the edit button, you know.
Yeah.
but text
You were
is out
stuck
there
with
forever.
that. Yeah.
Oh man, I have too many of things that I've just misspoken out loud that were ridiculous things in church. But I remember one time, right when I was in college, interning at a church doing worship ministry, I was writing notes for the band on Planning Center for how the song would start. And I was trying to say that the song would start with a really quiet, ethereal synth pad, just like a droning kind of, this atmospheric, ethereal sound. But I wrote urethral synth pad, thinking that's how you spelled ethereal.
Oh, no.
And everybody's like, what does that mean? And what is that all about? I'll never urethral.
You're like,
that's
don't
the sound
Google
that
it.
everybody needs to start a song. I will say there was another time I was visiting a friend's church for a Christmas Eve service once. This wasn't a typo. This is just so stinking funny to me. It was, Christmas Eve, one of the biggest services of the year. They're doing this song by Chris Tomlin called "Glory in the Highest," and they were doing it to where somebody sang the first verse and somebody else sang the second verse. And the line that the second verse starts with says, "Apart from you, there is no God. Apart from you, there is no God." But I remember that they had the second vocalist mic muted for the first part where he goes, "There," and it came on, "There is no God." And I'm like, that's the greatest, most awkward thing. And it was like so loud when it popped in because like the mic was muted when he was singing "Apart from You." Nobody heard it. And you hear out loud proclaiming to the church, "There is no God." And I just remembered like I could not keep it together.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard for the next day after that. So good.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So I feel like I've had a bunch of different typos and stuff that I catch before I hit send.
No fun. No.
Yeah, I know. It's no fun. But I remember when me and Lucas first met, he thought I was mad at him all the time because I used proper punctuation.
Oh, you monster. Periods in text messages?
I do too.
He was like, no one our age does this. Why are you texting like this? Are you mad at me? I was like, no, that's just how I text.
I'll be there, period. I'm like, she does not want to be there. She's going to come back and bite me later.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, my goodness.
So is there any music right now, an album, song, artist that has been on repeat for you lately?
So I enjoy the band The 502s. I don't know if you know them. They're kind of a summer anthem for me, like Dave is for you and used to be for me years ago as well. But, when the sun is shining and it's nice outside, I'm turning on the 502s. But I have also been listening to Noah Kahan's Great Divide album a lot.
How depressing.
Well. I
for
know.
the summer.
Well, that's what I gotta go back and forth.
It's about balance.
You can't live in the Noah Kahan Great Divide, okay?
Yeah.
So,
There's no sunshine.
There's not. But it's so good.
Yeah.
It's still so good.
I've been listening to Great Divide on repeat as well. I think Dan
This
is
is why
my
you guys
favorite.
don't smile anymore. This is why.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it, Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been listening to Dan and Dashboard are the two that I keep going back
The
to.
songs.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Such a good album.
I know that I'm supposed to really like Noah Kahan, and I've told you guys
You
before.
don't
It's
have
just
to.
it's never grabbed me, even though
Yeah.
it's very popular. And but Brooke, one of our coworkers, made me a list a couple weeks ago, and there's a couple songs on there that I've gone back to and listened to that I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. American Cars.
Yeah.
Yep, that one's good.
Is that on Great Divide?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that a new one? Yeah, it's a big full band sound. I like that one a lot.
It's actually about his sister.
It's about American cars.
Yeah.
There's no metaphors
It
in
is.
this at all.
Yeah, no, never in music. Not at all.
Never at all. This week I'm going up to Chicago with Nico, another one of our coworkers, and we're going to go see Jimmy Eat World, a band that was very instrumental and important to me when I was in middle school. They're doing their 25th anniversary of their big album Bleed American that had the song The Middle, it just takes some time,
Yeah,
little
yeah.
girl, you're in the middle. Anyway, so we're going to go see them play that album all the way through, and I've been listening to that album and I'm like, man, I was in 8th grade and life was so simple and
yes.
but it still slaps and the heart-wrenching heartbeat of it all is still so good. So I've been like going back to 2001 is what I've been listening to this week a lot. And then a lot of Dave Matthews Band because it's summertime and all
shining.
those
Yeah.
concerts are coming, and Goose and all the different kind of things that I am just loving with the Nicer weather. That's what I'm listening to.
Our next topic today, it's a New York Times article titled, "In UFO Files, Some Christians See Vexing Questions and Demons." The Trump administration's release of Pentagon UFO files has sparked a fascinating theological debate among some conservative Christians. While the files contained murky, inconclusive images, the broader conversations around extraterrestrial life has prompted a group of pastors and Christian podcasters to quietly organize and prepare their communities for what they see as a potentially spiritual deceptive disclosure. A secretive February meeting in Nashville brought together charismatic Christian leaders who were briefed by anonymous intelligence operators on what may be coming. For many of these Christians, the explanation for UFOs isn't science, it's scripture. Rather than viewing unidentified aerial phenomena as visitors from other planets, prominent figures including Vice President J.D. Vance and Representative Lauren Boebert have publicly suggested these entities are demonic in nature. Not all Christian voices, however, are sounding alarms. Theologians and mainstream evangelical leaders like Russell Moore argue that the possibility of extraterrestrial life poses no fundamental threat to Christian faith, and that curiosity and openness should guide the response. Religion scholars note that humanity has long interpreted unexplained phenomena through spiritual frameworks, and that the UFO debate is simply the latest chapter in that ancient conversation. So what is your view on aliens? Do you think they could be demonic?
Well, for me, as a Jesus follower, I already believe in a God who spoke the universe into existence, a virgin birth, angels, resurrection. So aliens aren't actually the weirdest thing probably on my theological list,
Yep.
you know. But
Supernatural, unexplainable things, right?
Yes,
yeah.
right.
We kind of deal in that stuff,
Yeah,
right?
and I don't know if aliens exist, right? I don't know if UFOs are secret military technology, misunderstood natural phenomena. Like, I don't know. And I think that as humans, a lot of times we want to have the answers to absolutely everything, but people often assume that, like, being a Jesus follower, Christianity requires Earth to be the only inhabited world, but I have never seen that in scripture necessarily, because the Bible is the story of God's relationship with humanity, not this comprehensive catalog of everything he ever made necessarily. So I don't know. One of the recurring themes is like God's creation is far bigger than humans could imagine, right? So like if God can create billions of galaxies, why would it be impossible to believe that he didn't create life somewhere else?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't think that's a threat to God's greatness either, personally. Mm-hmm. It might just magnify it. It might just make it bigger. But I don't know. Not a scientist. Okay? Not a scientist.
No, I've been blown up about this over the last couple months because with, the administration releasing some videos and then going back to, I think it was 2022, 2023 when it was the first time that high-ranking officials in the military, not just a farmer in his backyard who said he saw something in the middle of the night or some guy stumbling out of the bar, but high-ranking military officials said, there have been things that we have seen on our radars that we cannot explain with human technology the way that we know it. So, which has led me to lots of interesting places and even considering it. And what does this mean? If so, how does this play into what I think about the world and about humanity? Does it make humans not as special as we thought we were because we're not alone? And sometimes I feel like we do need to be knocked down a couple pegs in our pride in that. There's a little bit of both sides of this that I think is healthy. But, and then this week, as we release this episode, tomorrow, Steven Spielberg's movie Disclosure Day is coming out, which is all about not taking the idea that maybe there are aliens, but more of maybe there's some people trying to not let this truth come out because of how disruptive it would be to society and to people of religion and all this kind of stuff. And I just along with what Allison said too, I don't ultimately feel very threatened by this at all in my faith. I think that what you see over and over again is God is more creative and more majestic and more loving than you could possibly imagine. And I don't see this as a threat. And there's multiple multiple biblical scholars and theologians that I look up to and trust that are like, this is an interesting possibility, but this doesn't dislodge anything that's true about us and true about God, because the scriptures is telling the story of God's relationship with humans, right? It's not this comprehensive, I forget how Allison said it so well, but it's not this comprehensive list of everything. So who knows? I think if God is who we see God to be revealed in the scriptures and who some of us know personally, then he's big enough and infinite enough to hold much more than our existence, but also intimate still, to understand and know and love us on an intimate way. So I don't feel that my faith is threatened. I do think it is really interesting when there are groups of some Christians who are just running to say that they're demonic. Like it's like they run towards, well, if it doesn't fit into my nice, neat categories that I see right now, it's interesting how in all human nature, but it's in religious human nature as well, that we just attach it to, well, what's the evil thing that we do hear about? And we just tie it to that. I mean, some of the things that I've read and some of the experts and military leaders that have come forth and said these things have said like, well, honestly, they have technology that we don't understand, and they've been here a long time and they visited many times and they haven't wiped us out. So we don't think that they're we don't think that they're hostile. So why do we so quickly just automatically say that they're demons? It's really, really interesting. So I'm trying to, even as I'm talking to our kids at home too, and the boys who right now are obsessed with Star Wars, and there's all these aliens and stuff there, and I'm trying not to like create this, because if we do have proof, somebody pulls out a green man that we had that landed here in Roswell, we see this kind of thing, I don't want it to be that their faith was like this brick wall, that if you take one brick out of the wall, then everything falls apart. I heard years ago a better way to look at the idea of our faith is like a trampoline that has give to it, not just a brick wall, but it's something that is true and it's big enough to hold the weight of the new things that we discover, and we can still be in the game, if you will. And so I'm trying to think man, if there are aliens, God loves aliens too. And God loves us still. And and we don't have to be afraid. And I think that's the recurring emotion that people bring up to me, and people don't really know how to communicate, but they're like, well, if this is true, then is all of this baloney, or is all of this, does it not matter? And should we be afraid? And I'm like, man, for somebody who can hold the idea that there are other beings in the galaxy, and I believe that Jesus rose from the dead, I don't think I need to be afraid. And I don't think that that's going to be helpful as we try to process whatever truth is, and whatever people are going to argue is AI manipulated if it comes forward or whatever as well. So I just am trying to encourage others to just not be afraid of this, and let's not just so quickly throw a category of demon on something, or because what does that say about us, that we're something we don't understand, that we're afraid of, we just so quickly call demonic.
Well, I'm a challenger by nature too, just in my everyday life about most things. And so when I think about it too, I think about church history and how Jesus followers used to think that mental illness, or if you had some sort of disability, or something, was also, these sensational claims. And I'm like, but the more and the more we learn and we see that that's not always the case. It's not always a spiritual issue. Sometimes it's just a natural issue. And it's okay to say, I don't know yet, but I was telling Abby earlier too that Christianity for me rises and falls on Christ, right? Not whether or not we're alone in the cosmos. So I'm not stressed about the aliens, and I don't know, maybe it's the meds, and that's fine. But for me, I'm not worried about it, because I'm my beliefs don't hinge on whether or not there's other life out there.
And if you take it from there, and Jesus totally, and this is something maybe modern people are uncomfortable with, but Jesus totally believed in an unseen spiritual realm of something from another, if you want to call it dimension, that you could not feel and touch, but was affecting and was real as real can be. So Jesus had no problem with that. So why are we terrified and feeling like we're on defense, or we feel like everything's going to fall apart if this becomes something that is disclosed to us. So I just don't, when we put fear in the driver's seat, man, it just doesn't get us anywhere. And I think that this would be an interesting development, but it's not something that creates a house of cards domino effect to, well, if this is true, then we can't trust this, and Jesus that, I just don't think that that's really what we're seeing here. It's faith and Christianity is not a brick wall that you can take one brick out that's not essential, like about who Jesus is, and it all falls apart. It's more like a trampoline. It's got some give to it, and thank God it does, because our life is complicated, and our world is complicated, and I'm complicated, and so we all need to have that give as we go forward.
Well, that's it for this episode of Atypical Talk. If you have any topics or questions, you can email those to atypicaltalkpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Atypical Talk Pod. And make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform to get updates when new episodes go live. We hope that these conversations today have helped you think wider, love deeper, and partner with God to bring the up there down here in your everyday life. Thanks for listening.